Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. This is going to be a brief reading on the pro-Palestinian protesters that will be protesting outside the Democratic National Convention this week. Their biggest and most family-friendly protest is happening on Monday, hence why I'm trying to get this done Sunday afternoon so I can have it ready to go. In the Yahoo article I was looking at, the pro-Palestinian protesters, were wondering if they're going to change their approach. They were referring to Joe Biden as Genocide Joe because of the support he has given to Israel. All I'm going to say is it's a really complicated situation in Gaza. The Palestinians, the citizenry there, they're the least guilty of any of the complications there. Israel's been an ally to the United States for a long time. They have an extremist government in place. The U.S. has been allies to Britain and Australia and France and Germany for at least 80 years. And it wasn't so long ago we had an extremist government in place, causing all sorts of disruptions. So I'm not really willing to throw Israel out with the bathwater because they've got the wrong people and extremists in charge. You can hold back on the support, but I wouldn't be flushing it away. Just like other countries did for us. I should throw Canada in there too. Waiting for us to gain our sanity back. Okay. That being said, I absolutely agree with the protesters in as far as, I want a ceasefire. I want humanitarian aid to get to the citizens, the Palestinians. Absolutely. As a human being, that's what I want. So they considered, when Kamala Harris was now at the top of the ticket, to change their tactics. But they sent protesters to one of her speeches, and they tried talking over her. And she said, I hear you, everybody has a voice, and I hear your voice, but I'm speaking now. Well, apparently they didn't like that. I believe the quote was, "The blush is off the rose." No, you interrupted somebody when they were giving a speech. You inserted yourself in a position because you felt your message was more important than the person who was speaking. We consider that rude. The whole thing that's going on with politics right now, with politicians shouting over each other to the point where you have to mute their microphones at debates so you can actually have a debate without somebody rudely talking over somebody else. That's what we've devolved into. I'm not against the Palestinian protesters' message. I'm against their tactics. Let's be real clear. I'm also against the tactics of throwing like milk or something like that on a work of art, even if it is protected by a screen. It's disrespectful. And so people have to go clean that up. The exhibit is taken offline while they clean it up. And for the people that were going there to go see it, you've denied them the ability to see something because you want to raise awareness on global warming. I'm on board with the message. I'm not on board with the tactics. Cheap tactics, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. You can think of the tactics your own. So, looking at the protests, there will be protests. I'm sure there will be very vocal protests. I'm sure the news media is going to cover it because this could be the chink in Kamala's armor. That sort of thing. Try and raise some concern over this. So I want to look at the energy around the protests around the DNC, especially tomorrow, as we go into I think it's a sturgeon moon. It's a super moon. It's the second full moon. So it's a blue moon on top of it. So all sorts of stuff going on. Okay, entertainment purposes only. Check out Twin Tarot. Gary and I also did a reading on this. I'm just doing this a day later, and I'm just going to focus solely on the energy of the protests tomorrow. Okay, Fool card. We're going to have messages coming across. King of Swords, Seven of Swords, Four of Coins, Seven of Swords. I said Nine of Swords, excuse me. Seven of Swords overarching. Lots of sevens here in emotions. Okay. What do we have? The Fool card, New Beginning. So this is the Democratic National Convention getting ready to start, but I think these are the protesters outside looking at Kamala Harris and her and Tim Walz as the new folks to get on. Tricky part is, I don't think they plan on going in there with the warm fuzzies. They want to go in there with a really stark message. They're taking this opportunity to deliver their message, and it's not going to be subtle. By the way, they're referring to Kamala Harris as Killer Kamala. She's not in charge. This is the kind of stuff that really, really irritates me. Yeah, you're pulling a page right out of Donald Trump's thing. Killer Kamala, Genocide Joe. Biden's been pushing for a ceasefire hard. Kamala Harris, I'm sure, is in support of that. She's not making the decisions, though. Why don't you just call me Dagger Dave or something like that for me not stopping it? You know? Where does it stop? Okay, granted, I don't have the ability to stop it. I'm not representing the U.S. government. I understand your frustrations. I don't appreciate your approach. In the past Nine of Swords, there's a lot of anxiety with the protesters. This is causing them a lot of stress. What's happening in Palestine? They're watching loved ones basically get murdered by a state. The current situation is the Four of Coins. They're not willing to hold on to the status quo. Maybe they've done some other approaches. They've made no headway whatsoever. So being well-behaved little protesters apparently isn't going to work for them. That's not what they want to do. They're going to try something bold and different. Overarching energy is they're going to try and steal the attention away from the Democratic National Convention. All eyes are going to be on it, and they want to steal those eyes. The lesson to be learned is the Seven of Coins. By doing this, this is you reap what you sow. Yes, you could steal the attention from that. You could definitely bring attention onto you and your cause that you find to be valuable. And let me bring a cat along here, and brings people's attention to it. But realize if you go about it in destructive ways, you might turn people off to the very cause that you want them to be sympathetic to. You have to be really careful about that, because you can really alienate what people are willing to support. The outcome is going to be the Ace of Cups, passion. There will be a lot of passion. Will it spill over into something more than that? That's entirely possible. It depends on, can they maintain control over their emotions? It's going to be a very emotionally charged scene out there. So that's going to lead to the next question. Will the protesters, especially on Monday, a full moon, the full moon's 11 o'clock or so in the morning Pacific time, which is going to be, or 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, which is going to be about 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the afternoon, East Coast time, right after lunch. And if they didn't have lunch, they may be hangry. You can have hangry protesters getting out of control. Now, mind you, if the protesters get out of control, that just feeds the Republican talking point about protesters for Palestine being, anti-Israel, anti-Semitic, and it's just going to have them double down on their pro-Israel stance, and a lot of conservatives are going to jump on board with that. So that's what I mean. It's a double-edged sword. With that King of Swords, for instance, it's really a double-edged sword on how you do this. I hope you're ready to own the consequences if you choose poorly. Nico was coming over here to jump up. I picked him up and put him on my lap, and then he left. If he comes back, we'll see. Let's look at the energy. Will they be able to keep their emotions in check? Nine of Pentacles. I only want to do a four-carder on this. Mercenary. Ooh. Now, a lot of people are being bussed in for this. I'm wondering if you get some people in the crowd that are antagonizers. They don't necessarily believe in peaceful protest, whether they're pro-Palestinian or not. You might, kind of like how neo-Nazis were getting into the BLM protests. I would be very concerned about some mercenaries coming in here. Let's check the underneath cards. You got the Four of Coins. There's the King of Swords again. And the Queen. The Emperor. Okay. I had some concerns about mercenaries coming in as antagonizers. I don't think so. I don't think that's what it is. The emotions are going to come in. They're bringing a lot of people from out of town. They're busing in a lot of people for this. That's their King of Swords choice. The DNC is going to have a lot of eyeballs on it. They want a lot of people outside. Again, keeping things low key is not what gets eyeballs on you, and it doesn't move the ball forward for you. Look at all these coins here. Alternatively, with the Queen of Pentacles, you want to show that you care. You want to find a practical solution for Palestine. But if you can peacefully protest and get your message across, it's going to resonate with those in charge. And this, by getting more people on here, they really are trying to get Kamala and Tim Walz's attention to this issue. Okay, just a little four-carder. Is there going to be out of control violence? Or will this just be a very large but peaceful protest? You know, it's funny. The largest, most peaceful protest I saw was with women and their special hats that they were wearing. You know, you had about 1 million women descend upon Washington, D.C., and there were no arrests. Imagine that. A protest of 1 million people, mostly women, and there were no arrests. And what were they wearing? Silly knitted hats. I'm just trying not to say the name, but yeah. I guess if you're using as one viewer pointed, Cha, I guess, is cat, and chat is a woman's hoo-ha. Yeah, the hoo-ha hats on. The chat hats. Will there be violence tomorrow? Will it be peaceful? Illusions, delusions, or integrity. Victory or seeing it me. If there... Okay, so on a high... I'm going to read this as a high energy and low energy. High energy is integrity. People understanding the consequences of their actions. Yeah, there could be some arrests. You know, some people can be posting bail and stuff like that. I think mostly this is going to be a successful rally that people protest, I should say, that people are there for it, and it would be successful for the groups that are protesting. They want to bring an end to the war, and that's their message. If they can remain peaceful and keep their intentions high, that is what will happen. If, however, they succumb to too much passion and too much energy, they can have illusions and delusions. And they will blame people, or no, especially the legal thing, for the suffering of others. They're going to want to draw attention to themselves. And with this cup, people agreeing, and then you've got Donald Trump over it, doing things that benefit Donald Trump. As Kamala Harris said, she is speaking now. And they can not vote for Kamala Harris if they want to. But not voting for Kamala Harris is supporting Donald Trump. And is that what you want? If you do not vote for Kamala Harris, you might as well be voting for Donald Trump. And you know what Donald Trump is going to do. There's again, my thumb off the camera there. There is no doubt what Donald Trump is going to do. Now, you can have your protest votes. That's fine. It's an American thing to do. But in the end of the day, you can have your protest vote if Donald Trump gets in because 100,000 of you did a protest vote as opposed to going out and voting for the candidates that gave you the best chance to see peace in the Middle East. Then you need to own the consequences of that because you're part of the problem. I don't know if they would be willing to do that, but that's the way it's going to be. Now, you want a King of Swords moment? There's your King of Swords moment right there. Make up your mind. You can be angry about it. You can kick and bite and spit and hiss and do all those things. In the end of the day, your choices are Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, as it currently stands. Maybe Donald Trump will pull out. But those are your two choices. And Trump's on record supporting Israel. He wants to give them every piece of armament they could possibly want. Do you think that's going to work out well for the Palestinian people? And you have the other person who says she's pushing really hard for a ceasefire and a peace plan there. Seems really obvious which one you should be supporting. But like many things, when somebody's really passionate about it, they lose their critical thinking skills because they're thinking with their heart and not with their head. And remember, the bus that is the Harris-Walz bus isn't there to get you to your exact destination. It's to get you into the neighborhood. And subsequent elections are the things that get you closer and closer to your final destination. That's how politics works. There will never be a candidate out there that gets you exactly where you want to be. And maybe there is, but that candidate may not get widespread support from other people because it doesn't get them where they want to be. That's why it's a bus. Drops you off at the bus stop, and then you filter out. That's where your local elections come in. Vote on your local elections to have candidates represent how you feel. Those local elections go to regional, regionals go to state, state goes to the federal government. That's how you build a platform. We'll leave it here. So, do I think there's going to be protests tomorrow? Absolutely. Will they be big? Yes. Will they be violent? I'm really not getting that. I think that folks will keep it under control. You might have some skirmishes, some arrests, but it's not going to be widespread. I hope I'm right on that. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.